Good morning. It's Monday, February 10th, about 6 a.m. Central Time. Looking at the precious metals overnight, the futures, they are higher as the dollar strengthened and gold hit a record high as President Donald Trump pledged to impose tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. Looking at the overnight price range here, you do have April gold. The high of the overnight session, 29.3280, last trading at 29.30 as I'm doing this recording, up $42.40. Quite an explosive move higher. The low overnight was 28.7990. So those new lows, they do become new levels of support. March silver, a high of 32.80 and a half. So we're about 10 cents lower than that. Only up about 26 cents here. The low was 32.03. And I said on Friday's Metals Minute, an area I'm going to be watching around that 32.30 down to 32.25 region. Saw a lot of people put on new positions in that area there. Then 32.03, that happened to be the lows of the overnight session, and 31.88. That would be a bit of a breakdown, but we didn't see that. We're now starting to see this kind of bull flag forming into place where we've got that extension upwards from early February, a level of consolidation with a lot of open wicks here, and we'd like to see a close over that $33 range where I believe that we could see an explosive move higher, potentially testing that $34 or $35 zone. Now, looking at the economic data this week, it is going to be a busy week here. The focus on economic data will be on inflation. So businesses, they tend to raise their prices at the beginning of the year, and that could result in this higher CPI, higher PPI release, which we're going to see Wednesday and Thursday. They are expected to be hotter than expected, even though they are both seasonally adjusted. Now, the key events this week, they do include that, and this is the one that I'm going to really be watching, is Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. He'll do his semi-annual congressional testimony. You do have the U.S. CPI data, and you've got this unveiling of these reciprocal tariffs that we're expected to see here on Tuesday. So everyone's watching that. He did announce those steel and aluminum tariffs over the weekend. Real interesting price action. Aluminum futures jumping up massively and then selling off as the trading session went on during the Super Bowl here last night. Now, I do expect to see another volatile week in the precious metals with the uncertainty surrounding these tariffs, the impact of inflation, global supply chains, and this comes at a time of declining economic growth, fueling the stagflation theory. That's why you do have gold outperforming silver as reflected in the gold-silver ratio back near 90-1. So silver is really struggling. It seems like copper and gold, those have been the two primary focuses here. Now, China's central bank is expanding its gold reserves for the third straight month and a new pilot program. So this is brand new. It's going to allow insurers to invest about 1% of their assets in bullion, potentially adding 200 billion yuan of funds. So the pilot program allows these 10 insurance companies to invest about 1% of their assets in gold. And this policy change could really signal that Chinese authorities are recognizing the need for alternative investment options, especially during some of the economic downturns and the slumps that they've seen, specifically in the property sector. So it might take some time for this to materialize, and the institutional investors, they are sensitive to prices, so they may wait for a bit of a pullback. But I think that initial news headline was really what banged this market back to the upside. Shifting to that copper market, copper has just been quite explosive here. Traders are concerned that copper could be included in any potential import tariffs threatened by President Donald Trump, and that the U.S. prices, they trade to a significant premium to the LME right now. So the demand for copper, it is starting to pick up in China, where those inventory processors, they are quite low and they are willing to replenish them as prices were low. But now with us breaking over to the upside back over 450, they might be a little bit more hesitant. Now, shifting to silver, silver is seeing money managers continue to increase their bullish bets by about 11,000 net long positions to 37,370. That was according to the CFTC data. This is the most net long bullish position they've had in about 14 weeks here, and a long only position rose about 10,000 contracts, up over 57,000. Now, what I'm going to be watching with silver is the tariff discussion surrounding Canada and Mexico. Remember, they account for about 2/3 of the imported silver. So for any of your technical tacticals and things like that, please go to the link in the description, register for the Metals Minute. If you do so today, we'll forward you out today's report here where we'll break down all the technicals, the key levels of support, things that like I identified like that 3203 in the overnight session. We outline our 4-star support and resistance levels as well, help you kind of build a battle plan here as far as attacking the market. Then we also give you the tactical ranges here, which use volatility adjusted type ranges. So if you see on the tactical range, because it does calculate off previous days data and also volatility, that we've already broken through one of those on the upside, I will put the refresh ranges in below it as a snapshot of where we're at the moment, and then you'll want to expand out to the next levels of buys and sells here for any of your playing. Now looking at Bitcoin futures, back below 100,000 here, but recovering about 2% of its losses. Crude oil futures looking quite interesting here, stringing about 2 days together here in a row of a movement back up. You do have grain futures coming off a bit in a wild ride here in the U.S. equity markets after gapping significantly lower on that tariff talk and then recovering, filling the gap here and then pushing on up here. A lot of people were buying some of that dip there on the NASDAQ. I saw that as well. So you got any questions, give me a call, 312-858-7303. Remember, futures and option trading, it does involve risk of loss. It may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.